No sounds of excitement came from within the house. I wandered about, first in the garden, then gradually reaching the kitchen porch. There I finally settled myself on the doorstep, curled up like a cat in the warm sun. I heard a window raised above my head, and as cautiously lowered, but Emily evidently still slept and no one emerged along the grapevine path to indicate that the gathering at the Daltons was breaking up. Then, idly following an insect of some sort as it crawled along the edge of the house wall, my eyes fell on a smallish round object underneath the dining room window, and I found myself staring at it. It lay in a wash of sand and gravel from Thursday night's heavy rain, and it looked not unlike a bit of rock itself, half buried as it was. I got up and was stooping over it when Mr. Dean spoke, just beside me. "So you've found it," he said calmly. "Well, don't touch it. Can you get me a trowel of some sort and a box? And we have only 10 minutes, maybe less." I took the hint and hurried back home. I dare say I was back in 5 minutes or so, but I was just in time. Louder voices from the Daltons told me that unofficial investigation over tea and cake was over, and indeed Mr. Dean had just time to shovel up the glove and drop it earth and all into the box when I heard Ellen and Lizzie on the path. When they came into view, however, he had disappeared around the far corner of the house, and I was knocking vigorously at the kitchen door. Ellen came on a run. "I just slipped out for a minute, miss," she panted. "Is there anything you want?" "Only to ask for Miss Emily. If she's asleep I'll not bother her." That was at 12 o'clock, and I went back home to find a rather irritated Inspector Briggs ringing our doorbell. "Just began to think the whole Crescent had gone to church for absolution," he said when he saw me. "I'd like to have a talk with you, Miss Hall. Something has come up, and I think maybe you'll know." I took him into Mother's downstairs sitting room, which corresponds to the Lancasters' morning room, and put him in a large chair. But he did not sit back in it. He sat on the edge, fumbled in his breast pocket and brought out a letter. "Of course," he said, "in a case of this kind we get anonymous letters. Everybody's got an opinion and wants us to have it without getting mixed up in it. This is different. It comes from around here. It was mailed from the Liberty Avenue branch post office, for one thing, and, well, read it first." I took it. It was printed in pencil on a ruled slip of paper such as comes in tablet form, not unlike the sort we keep about the house for menus and dinner lists, and it read as follows. If you want to know who killed Mrs. Lancaster, ask her daughter Margaret. Ask her too who she has been meeting for the last few weeks at night near the woodshed. She has played a dirty game and ought to get caught. He has got the money, but she took it. I put it down and stared at the inspector, who was pinching his lip. Well? He said. I don't believe it. Maybe. Maybe not. I'll bank that she didn't kill her mother, unless she's even smarter than I think she is. We found no blood and no bloody clothes in that house. But Dalton's different. Dalton. Sure. Dalton and she have been pretty thick for some little time. The back of the Crescent knew it if you didn't. That letter probably came from one of the servants. Maybe one of yours. Remember, I'm not saying there was anything wrong about these meetings, but there you are. Now, if we suppose this Margaret was getting out the gold as fast as it went in, and notified Dalton that last day Wellington was coming for a sort of general audit, you get the idea. But her own mother? I gasped. Worse things in this business than that, he observed. Or as bad, anyhow. Every now and then some loving daughter blows up and there's trouble. I'm not saying it's true, and I have a pretty shrewd idea that you're close-mouthed or I wouldn't have told you. But you live here. You may know something. You may even have written that letter. Did you?